Yeah, we're recording to the cloud. And now what we're going to do is invite those people out in the real social media world to join us. Welcome, 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 people of social media world. We really appreciate you joining us today for our 169th meeting of the Roundtable, which we are now calling our current event show. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Today, we're going to talk about what's on our minds in the world, what's new, what's exciting. And just remember, everything you hear today is an opinion. I want to welcome the panel. Hello, everybody on the panel. Say hi. And
Hello.
If there's anybody that wants to introduce themselves, now would be the time to introduce yourselves, because that's how you guys wanted to set it up. Good. It's me and my ventriloquist voice. I'm the only, no, you'll be able to see it if you're watching on YouTube. You'll be able to see that it's just not me. It's a whole peripheral of people watching, listening, and whatever. Anyway, welcome. So today's been a pretty busy week, very, very exciting. You know, I thought about this, and I don't know, Wayne, if you're following the news in the United States or not of what's going on, but I thought about it. I thought, what if I was a screenwriter? Of course, I'd be on strike right now. But, you know, I mean, if you're on strike, are you writing at home? I mean, is that permissible? I don't know. I mean, I think it is. And then I guess you're putting some material, because if you're a writer, just because you're on strike, I don't think you would just want to sit around looking in a mirror all day or be on the picket line. I think, you know, again, remember, I'm saying this is just an opinion, but I would think that you would, you know, I mean, you would be writing to yourself and putting down your ideas. I know I write ideas every day, even though I'm not a writer, I'm part of the union. I still write. When I write, I have ideas, and I have a notebook I carry with me everywhere. And I would bet that the writers are doing the same thing that I'm doing. And so they're having an idea. So with that in mind, I am saying that the reality is that if you had an idea for a script like this, and I'll run it by you, I would think that if I told you, Wayne, I'm writing a script about a president of the United States, a former president of the United States, that gets indicted in 4 different jurisdictions in court and is running out of money. And so he's bilking his constituents for that money. You would say to me, that is the worst idea I have ever heard for a screenplay. That's unbelievable. Nobody in their right mind would believe something like that. Which proves fact is stranger than fiction. So, Dave, you're in Hollywood. By the way, David is in a car on the way to the movies. So, Dave, can you imagine somebody approaching you with a script like that?
No, I mean, nobody would go for it. It could only be live.
And then yeah, it would just seem like it's crazy. So, welcome to America, everybody. Welcome to America. Yeah. Anyway, by the way, I am using shocks, and I want to thank David. I don't know if you could see I hope you could see my headset that I'm wearing. They're pretty amazing. They're bone conducting, and your ears are open, so you could hear everything that's around you. And yet the quality of sound is really good enough so that you can listen to music. You could listen to. I use this for my phone calls. They're amazing. They're amazing headsets. I really love them. David, thank you so much for talking to Dan Castings and letting Dan Castings, convince you to try them, because they're pretty amazing.
Yeah, that's how my microphone got better. I'm on my shocks.
Yeah. Oh, really? Yeah. Because I'm using the OpenCom 2 UC, but I think David is using the OpenCom without the mic. See, this one has a microphone. I don't know if you could see it in the back.
Mine has a mic.
Somewhere.
It just doesn't have a boom mic.
See? Yeah, this has a boom mic, but I'm not using the boom mic. I'm only using it for listen back. Welcome, Kurt. Good to see you.
Hello, Kurt.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Yep, you missed the pre-show. We were talking about you, as a matter of fact. And I know, I might be putting you on the spot, but Wayne was talking about consoles, on what consoles he uses and various things like that. And I said that everybody has a favorite console that they really like. And I mentioned that that if you had your druthers, that if all the consoles, if you could use it all the time, you would use the Gamble. What was I right?
Yeah, I mean, this last weekend I did a bunch of stuff on a profile, and it was nice to have all the recall and snapshots, but I don't really need that very often. So sonically, all things aside, yeah, the Gamble hands down.
Yep. So, and that is what I thought. You see, Wayne. So I'm not crazy
And
after all. Well, yes,
what's
I am
Kurt's
crazy after
second
all.
choice?
Midas XL4 probably.
Jan, what did you say?
Well, no, I didn't say it, but I know he has some, Digico SD12s, and I'm sure he likes them as well. But no, the Midas XL4 is one of the best consoles ever made, but unfortunately, it's got such a big footprint that very few people can use it. I think Roger Waters was using it, but I don't know if he used it on his last tour. I don't believe he did. I believe he went to a digital board.
Here's
I
Digico.
went to a Digico board. Anyway, I got some really good news for those people living in the West. Federal officials are easing water restrictions on the Colorado River next year after a blockbuster winter helped shore up water levels this year. And basically, listen to this, the Colorado River will operate in a tier 1 water shortage in 2024, but they're going to give back billions of gallons of water to the Colorado River, which would mean for those people living in Arizona, Nevada, California, probably New Mexico, and the areas that feed from the Colorado River, you're going to have enough water. The water shortage is going to be diminished, which is wonderful, thanks to this, exceptionally cold winter, and that from last year, I guess.
Well, how long will that last? A year?
I don't know. I really don't know. I'm not. First of all, I'm not a meteorologist. Second of all, I have nothing to do with the water system, except I watched Chinatown. That was a good movie. I have to tell you, if you haven't watched it, it's one of Jack Nicholson's finest. I love Chinatown. Great movie. Isn't the other lead character in Chinatown movie now doing commercials for Indeed, where he's like, he's singing and his body is falling apart or something like that. He's dead. He said, I wish I had this application that I could hire people from all over the world, except from all over my family. Isn't that the same guy?
I don't know.
Well, if you happen to know, send us an email, write it in.
What does he look like? What does he look like?
He looks like the guy in the picture, I tell you.
I mean, like, what color is his hair in the commercial?
Well, you can't really tell because it's, I think because he is dead in the commercial. So it's kind of weird. I guess it's white and look, I mean, that's the whole idea. He's dead and he's talking about that he wish he had a better way and when he was alive, and Indeed's the better way. So anyway, speaking of be dead or alive, check this out. Janet Yellen, you know who she is? The secretary, she's the U.S. Treasury Secretary, went to China, and evidently somehow they slipped a magic mushroom into her food.
Oops.
I thought that was like, really, I mean, that's, nobody ever had to slip one into my food. I was usually, eating them voluntarily, but I never heard back from her in regards to how she felt from the experience of a magic mushroom, but that's kind of funny that China would feed our Treasury Secretary a magic mushroom. I think she had it at a Chinese restaurant there. That's the best I can glean out of this story. Has anybody heard anything about that?
The restaurant is doing blockbuster business right now.
Say that again, David.
The restaurant is doing great business now.
The restaurant is doing great business. I mean, China is a weird place. I mean, they're limiting kids on the cell phone. I mean, it's like if Xi Jinping said tomorrow, everybody needs to wear a red shirt. Tomorrow, everybody would be wearing a red shirt in China. It's, the freedoms that they have are not the same as those in democratic parts of the world, such as the United States, Australia. I mean, Wayne, what would you do if the prime minister said wear a red shirt tomorrow? Would you wear a red shirt?
Well, I don't know. If they're going to arrest me, I might. But if
yeah, well, they're not going to arrest you. They're going to just take your koala bear from you. That's all.
Yeah.
That's it.
Did you know, Jan? Did you? Did you know, Jan, that magic mushrooms you could buy at Woolies in Australia many years ago?
What about today?
No, I don't think so. But they were magic mushrooms. You used to put them in your toilet as deodorant, and they were shaped like a mushroom, and they were called magic mushrooms.
Oh, no. In these days, magic mushrooms is more as a psychedelic, you know.
Oh, well,
that
they had the
grow,
same thing.
Oh, they did.
They
Oh,
did.
yeah. But you put them in your toilet, eh? That's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
they sold them as little mushrooms for deodorant.
Oh, but you would eat them instead.
You definitely wouldn't eat them. Definitely wouldn't eat them.
Oh, you wouldn't eat them. Well, I'm confused then, but that's what would happen if I was doing mushrooms right now. I'd probably be
Yes.
confused, but I wouldn't care. You know what? Well, maybe
Well,
I am eating them.
some of my friends used to go magic mushroom looking out in their paddocks. They would go looking for magic mushrooms. And then they
Well,
cook them
you
up.
know, it's kind of interesting, you know, because some mushrooms are poisonous. And it always amazes me how somebody would try to test a food that you know might kill you if you do it wrong. And yet you say, well, you know, I don't know, this might kill me. What the hell? It's a mushroom, you know, I'll just, I love the taste of things that grow from dung, you know, because that's where mushrooms grow out of. You know, I mean, first of all, I can't believe that anybody ate one. But second of all, the risk of your life. I mean, there's a fish in China. I'm sorry. There's a fish in Japan. Maybe David knows the name of this fish. I think it's called a
fugu.
bluefish.
Fugu.
Yeah, that part of the fish is deadly. One bite, you drop dead instantaneously. And yet people still eat it at sushi restaurants.
Wow.
Wow.
You know what? You know what food amazes me the most of all the foods out there that amazes me the most that we have today and is edible is an artichoke. How desperately hungry must have been the person who first ate an artichoke? I mean, they must have been amazingly famished.
What the hell's an artichoke?
Kurt, what do you think of? You're the chef of a group. What do you think of the mushrooms and the artichoke aspect of life?
I like mushrooms and cooking. My magic mushroom days are long over. Artichokes, tough to cook, but if you get it right, it can be good.
Yeah, I love it with a little mayonnaise.
Who's the first guy that put a shrimp in his mouth? Ugh.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's amazing, you know, what people will eat. That's for sure. It's totally amazing what people will eat. Kurt, where are you, by the way? I see you're at a show site. Tell us about it.
I'm at Marymore, which is in Redmond, Washington. It's right where Microsoft's corporate headquarters is, up the hill. So I have to be careful about not steering any energy up there. And a lot of Microsoft execs live in the hills around the place. So it's scorching though. It's 95 degrees and 50% humidity. So it's not exactly the most comfortable day.
And what is there a band playing, or is there just is it a corporate work?
It's walk-in right now, but no, it's Green Sky Bluegrass and the Wood Brothers. And then I've got them both in 2 days in Bend. So we'll fly down there and tomorrow, and then same bands tomorrow or Friday in Bend.
Mm-hmm.
But today's act in Bend canceled because of air quality, because of all the fires. So it was a 2 hour.
Yeah, it's an amazing amount of fires.
But,
Speaking of which, could you believe what's happened in Lahaina and Maui? I mean, over 106 people are dead as of right now. And it's like a horror show to look at how people were trying to drive out, and all of those cars that were stuck behind one another, and they just burnt to the ground, and people had to jump in the water to save their lives. And yet some people didn't survive that jumped in the water. The water was so hot. It's wow, what a horrible experience.
Smoke inhalation and things. I've been there a lot. I've spent a lot of time there. Even when my kids were little, all through there growing up, we'd always go to the banyan tree and get the Dippin' Dots and walk around. It just had, last time I was there, ate at Fleetwood's, Big Fleetwood's place. That burned to the ground. It's crazy. It looks like a bomb went off. They said it was
They sit.
firewall.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
a mile a minute. So there was no outrunning it. If you didn't see it coming and get out of there,
Yeah, it was absolutely crazy. I mean, they're saying that it's going to be the most costliest fire and the most deadliest fire in the United States. Right now, they're saying there's 106 that they've confirmed dead. There's 1,500 missing. It looks like that those numbers are going to double as far as the death toll, which is really sad. And Maui, if you've never been there, is one of the prettiest places on earth. And Lahaina is basically the tourist center of Maui. Would you guys agree with me or not on that?
yeah, and it's actually really historical too. There's all kinds of historical buildings and things that related not only to the royal family but to the original Europeans and Westerners that settled there. It's a
Yeah,
huge
the
loss.
first whaling exhibitions were there.
It's a massive cultural loss for not only Hawaii. And then I've got a friend in Maui, and he says the last thing that they want is for people not to come and go to Maui and do other places, because the whole place survives on tourism. And so now everybody's canceling their plans to go to Maui, and it's going to kill the rest of the economy out on the island.
Well, that's
Yeah.
because their government is advertising not to go. They're asking people not to go. And there was an article in the New York Times that I read that the residents who've lost everything are really furious at the people that are staying at the resort hotels because of the dichotomy of they've got nothing, and then these people are laying in the beach in the sun and being pampered on the other side of the island. And it seems like some people really resent that. But yet, you're right, they need the tourist dollars.
They're talking about how it diverts resources from the people that need them, but I don't know that those resources are available to people that need them anyway. So I don't know. My friend works in the hospitality industry over there, and he said, yeah, if people don't come here, it's going to cripple the rest of the economy. It'll make it more difficult to rebuild Lahaina. So
Yeah.
it's kind of a catch-22. It's like, which one is the right thing to do,
Yep. Wayne, did you get that news down in Australia?
Yeah, we got most of all that news. Pretty. I'm always interested when you have fires like that, like when you can't escape. I can't think of any. It's got to be one of the most horrendous ways to go from the living to the non-living, being trapped in a fire. Like that's going to happen. Because 10 years ago, it'd be now 13 years ago, but approximately 2009, 2010, I think was the era that happened, maybe in 2008. But down in Victoria, which is south of the border from here, they had a massive fire in one day, and I think there was 196 or something like that. People died. Most of that was because they couldn't get out. There wasn't enough. There's not enough roads to get out. And they would just get caught and it's all trees. It's a bit like where Curdy's there at the moment, just massive trees.
That's what happened in Lahaina. Front Street is only a one little road, and it's the only main road in or out of the town. The rest of it is all city blocks there's no way out of Lahaina on the city blocks. The only way in and out is the only significant way in and out is on Front Street. And once cars started being disabled, it was blocked it, nobody could go. Those are the people who all jumped in the ocean. It's the people that were stuck in their cars, and they jumped out of their cars and ran in the ocean.
And the other thing, of course, I heard that they ran out of water pressure. They had no water pressure. And the emergency signal didn't go off. I mean, it was like one fault after another that they just weren't prepared for something like this.
Well, they're also saying that there's a combination of having the community backed up against what used to be plantation fields, and they're just abandoned plantation fields all around the place. And they also said that they've planted a lot of non-native grasses, and that those non-native grasses grow up tall and were arid and dry, and it was perfect fuel for the fire. So if there'd been a buffer zone between the rocks and the natural landscape that would have been there, maybe it wouldn't have been as bad. Because it's the grass around the place that caught fire, and then that blew into Lahaina.
Yeah, it's, I think about, being caught in a fire, of what to do. There's really nothing you can do except try to escape. But then, it's just one of those things that, I don't know if there's a good way to die, but that's not, that isn't one of my first choices, if that you ask me, how would you like to die? I always say the same thing. I'd like to die in my sleep, like my grandfather, rather than the way that people in his car died.
Probably going to be a lot of elderly that just couldn't move fast enough to get out of there. But
Yep.
it's interesting to see what the demographic is when they finally release all the data. They said there's 1,000 people missing, so I think it's going to go way up.
Yeah, it's not a good thing, and my heart goes out to everybody there that's suffering over it, because I know what it's like to suffer, but I can't imagine losing everything like that. And basically a fire, that's what a fire does. A fire wipes out everything, unless you have a fireproof safe, which most people won't have. But basically a fire just wipes out everything. It just melts anything you've got, burns up any paper you've got, ruins your furniture. I mean, and even if something survives, it'll still have that smell of fire, from so you lose everything.
They're saying that enough of the banyan tree didn't get burnt, that it's conceivable that that will recover in some way, shape, or form. I mean, it took 200 years.
Oh, well, that's good.
But they say, I mean, some of it's a loss. They'll probably have to cut it down, and parts of it that didn't make it, and see what they can do to encourage the rest to grow again. But it'll take 100 years before it looks like that again.
Well, could I say, let's move on a little bit, and let's talk about, I guess, right now, if you've looked at our logo, you saw that big truck, and that truck basically symbolizes UPS. And we were going to talk about UPS, whereas being a UPS driver just really took a 50% spike in searches for UPS jobs, because the shipping giant now reached a deal with the Teamsters. And it seems that full-time driver salary are now up. I find this a staggering number, and I find this almost impossible to believe that if you're a driver for UPS, you're making $170,000 a year.
They must be long treks.
I mean, I'm thinking about becoming a driver at $170,000 a year. I mean, really, and now they're getting air conditioning. It's like a cush job. It's like amazing, 170. And the new employees, the people that are going to go part-time, are going to be making over $20 an hour as well. But I read an article.
But it's not easy for them to go full-time. That's why they only hire part-time drivers.
That makes sense then. And that's why they don't make some.
That's why everything's part-time. Yeah.
And I heard this woman being interviewed who works for UPS, and she's probably not going to vote for this deal because she feels it's not fair to her, being a UPS employee for so many years, that she didn't get the same benefits that they want to give the new employees and the part-time employees. So there might be some employees there that are going to vote against that.
Why? Does she still work for them?
Yeah, she still works for them.
But she's just not a driver anymore. She's not a driver anymore?
She is a driver. She is a driver, and she doesn't like the fact that the new drivers are going to come on and make as much money as she made. She's making now after being there so long. Evidently, there's nothing about seniority where you get paid more for being there longer. It's a uniform rate throughout. As soon as you become a driver, you get the same amount of money that she's made after being there 20 years, and she doesn't like it.
Oh, well, it's life.
That's life. That's what
life.
The people make of it.
Yeah. I mean, everybody has paved the way for somebody else. That's what she did. She just paved the way for other drivers. So, it is what it is.
Yep.
She wants to deny them because she didn't get that benefit 25 years ago, 20 years ago. Come on now. You're about to retire.
Yeah, I think what she's mad at is that she's been working there so long, and now if you get hired, you're going to be making the same amount of money as she makes.
Yeah, I understand that. So what?
Yeah.
So what? Okay, it happens. You know, that she paved the way for these drivers to get that much. So I mean,
that's what I like about this show right now, is because it's an opinion show and we all have our own opinion, and I love it. So thank you, Tina, for sharing your opinion. You know, but keep going now. Keep going.
I'm just saying, you know, like everybody does that. You paved the way for your younger brothers and sisters. You paved the way for your classmates. That's just things that happen. You know, like nobody who played in the NFL 20 years ago or the NBA 20 years ago likes the contracts that these kids are getting just straight out by being signed and having proven themselves. So, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, I wonder what Mickey Mantle would say, or James Brown, you would say right now, you know, for a player to play in baseball after Mickey Mantle had such a hard time, you know, made hardly basically any money in those days, and was one of the greatest. Or Babe Ruth would say if they came back today.
The money wasn't the same back then, so, you know, as a result.
Well, we'll never know because they're not coming back. That's all there is to it.
No, but I'm just saying in general, like for everybody, that even to today's UPS, the money wasn't the same then. You know.
Yeah.
So.
You know, I wonder if Mickey Mantle, if somebody could, you know, like let's just say Mickey Mantle or Babe Ruth or somebody super famous came back today, I wonder if people would believe it was actually them or some sort of illusion. In other words, would they believe it? You know, I mean, I guess it comes down to is like this, and I don't want to get too religious, but if Jesus came back today, would people believe that it's Jesus? And what would he have to do to prove that he was Jesus?
Well, I mean, doesn't the Dalai Lama get reincarnated every so often, whenever many years, according to their religion?
I haven't met him yet. I don't know. Really,
I'm just saying, like, you know, if other religions think it's impossible, I don't. You know, I mean, that's their opinion.
Well, I guess, you know, you mentioned football. You mentioned football earlier, and there is an article now running around right now. I don't know if you heard about this, but the blindside player, Michael Orr, is suing his family.
Yeah,
because he feels that he was screwed out of money by them by the movie The Blind Side, which was about him. And he's disputing the character now, that it wasn't really like that for him. Is that
not supposed to be? It's a movie. It says that, you know, like you know, it's based on a true story. It's not a full factual documentary story. So, I mean, you know, he's retired, and all of a sudden this comes out. All of a sudden he has a book coming out. All of a sudden he has PR coming out. I mean, who really knows what's the truth? You know, like you wait all these years to figure out that you're just under a conservatorship instead of being fully adopted at 18. Like, get out of here.
Yeah, I mean, that's crazy. But what he's really complaining about is he feels that he didn't get his fair share from The Blind Side. He feels like he should have gotten more money out of that.
Feelings aren't real. Facts are.
Yeah. Anyway, it's kind of interesting. And of course, once again, it's an opinion. So, you know, that's it. You know, I mean, I'm sure we all have opinions, but right now I can't believe this. And if this wasn't in a legitimate, this is in the Tampa Bay newspaper, but that the schools are now pulling Shakespeare. I'm not making this up. They're pulling Shakespeare out of the school libraries because they're afraid of the sexual content of Shakespeare.
But it's okay for them to have certain groups go to schools and publicize their preference.
Yeah, I mean, Shakespeare.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's been around as long as there's been literature around.
Yeah.
And now they're saying, wow, I can't even understand what the guy is saying. Where have those come? Blah, blah, blah. You know, it's like, it's not real English today to me. It's like old English. Yeah. And I don't remember it being really, very sexual content.
How many of those kids really actually listen to it or remember it or, you know, take it with them? I mean, if we don't keep diversity, that, you know, everybody will just be robots.
Yeah, like, I mean, how many people are actually reading Shakespeare these days in schools? Right. I don't know. I guess maybe that's the only place you do read it.
Who did it affect? Like, Did they do a poll on everybody today? No, it didn't affect it. But, you know.
Tina, I have no idea why they did it or whether they're just afraid they're going to get arrested. So they're pulling it out because of the draconian laws in Florida. But I thought that was an interesting thing that it's going to be pulled out of the public school libraries. Shakespeare. Never would have thought that. David, where are you, by the way? I could see you are in a new location. Are you at the movie theater?
No,
You're showing us something, but
it
we
looks
can't
like he's
see.
at
Oh,
In and
wow.
Out.
Oh, he's got food.
He's at In and
Oh,
Out.
my God. He's got food. He's got food.
Oh, by the
Well, we'll
way,
let him eat
David,
in peace.
by the way, David, sorry, Jan, I enjoyed the email on the LA Times stuff on the Roxy last week that you sent.
Oh, yeah.
Very good.
It's a wonderful place. It's small. It's a small theater, but it's a wonderful place with a lot of history of rock and roll. It's super packed with history of rock and roll. The other thing I wanted to talk about, talking about rights and things like that. Did anybody see Barbie? Anybody in this room other than me and David see Barbie?
No.
Well, I have to tell you, I was very surprised when I saw Barbie. This is a spoiler alert. So if you're planning on seeing Barbie and you haven't seen it yet and you're still planning on seeing it, you might want to fast forward or shut your ears until I put my hand up. All right, there you go. Or should I put my hand up and then put it down? Well, either way, I don't think it's matter. But right now, Barbie in Saudi Arabia, across the Middle East, critics have called for the film to be banned. We're talking about Barbie now, for undermining traditional gender norms. Kuwait, where religious conservatives have been more moral, more vocal in recent years, decided last week to ban it. So it's banned it in Kuwait. But in Saudi, the hit movie Barbie arrived at the kingdom last week with an eruption of pink nails, pink shirts, pink floor length abas. Some theaters schedule more than 15 showings a day. That was happening when one of the most male-dominated countries in the world, to say it was mind-boggling in so many different ways, and it indicates the region's shifting political landscape. Here's the deal. If you haven't seen Barbie, it's not the light, funny comedy that you think it's going to be. I thought it was going to be light and cartoonish and whatever, but no, it is not that at all. It is about women's rights and how men have focused women's physical appearance, women's physical abilities, the idiosyncrasies of sex domination and political powers and how women are down here and men are up here. And it's really a statement on today's society, dating back to when advertising agency and Barbie came out. And it's really done in a very, very interesting way. And I took Bo to see it. And of course, she's born and raised in Thailand, grew up with Thai, and she couldn't understand what they were talking about in regards to that because it was really foreign to her. And basically, I'm surprised that this movie has garnered such an international attention, whereas it really seems to me to be limited to American culture. Dave, you saw it. What do you think?
You guys are putting too much into this movie because that's really stereotypical of Barbie to be.
If you haven't seen the movie, you can't offer an opinion on this because
now,
you
don't
have to
tell
see
me
it
I'm
to
not.
understand.
That's Barbie. That's stereotypical Barbie. Okay,
That's right, and that's the character Margot Robbie played. Stereotypical Barbie.
Exactly. So it's a movie. I don't know why people are putting too much into it because Barbie has always been like that.
Exactly, Tina,
First of all,
that's
this
yes,
movie
David.
was directed by a woman.
Okay,
And
it's a
she
movie.
knows
Like, why is everybody taking it that serious? It's a movie.
Because it is.
It's got
No,
a
it's
message.
not.
It's more than a movie. It's got a, just a movie is, that doesn't have a message is hard to find. This movie has a message that has to do with women and how they see themselves.
Yeah, right. Yeah. No, it's about this girl who has a lot of malfunctions in her hapless life, that wants
No, it's
women
not
to
about
be-
that at all. It's
yeah.
not about that at
No,
all.
no,
You
no,
have
no,
to see the
because
movie.
she wants you to think that you can't let a man define you. She wants you to be like so independent that you don't care about men. You know, like it's ridiculous.
That's not what it is at all.
Mm-hmm.
It's not what it is at all. Not at all.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's absolutely, that's not what the movie's about. Nor, I mean, unless I'm completely wrong,
So
David,
she's
what do
not
you
a
think?
feminist in this movie.
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
Well, are we giving
No,
away?
absolutely not.
Yeah, I
Are
don't
we
care.
giving away anything on this movie? 'Cause
Yeah,
I'll
why
tell you
not?
something.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, she
I'm trying
changes.
to, hang on.
Her whole attitude changes in the movie.
It
And
does.
Let's just say, yeah, absolutely.
Mm.
She becomes a new person.
Absolutely becomes a
Then
new
what's the
person.
problem with the movie then?
There is no problem with the movie. It's an excellent movie. That's why it's done over $1 billion in the box office. It has a message. It has a message about society.
Look, if you're gonna start
and
talking
it's
about
right
movies,
on the money.
you should just say it what it's about, you know, because we all growing up with Barbie know what she's about. But in this movie, you're saying that she changes her whole attitude, you know,
Yeah.
right? I mean, who cares if you give it away or not? Like, people are gonna watch this anyway. So
Well,
Okay.
it's hard
If that's
to
what
it's
she's
hard to
gonna do,
have an
that's what she's
opinion
gonna
on
do.
something.
well,
I
if
mean,
that's what she's gonna
it's
do, then
easy
she's
to have an
gonna do.
opinion on something, but if you haven't seen the movie, it makes it very difficult for you to
Well, you
actually
didn't say
comment
that.
on
That's
what the
I'm
movie is
saying.
about.
You started off very negative about the movie, but that's all of us who know Barbie know that that's how she is. But then David comes in and he says that Barbie changes, that she has an epiphany almost. Okay, fine. Then, you know, if that's the case, then that's fine. I mean, but we all know when we all grew up with Barbie versus, you know, versus the movie. I don't have to see the movie to know how Barbie's been. But if she has an epiphany, then, you know, why not just say that, Jan? Why make everybody think that she's a bad person?
I never said she was a bad person.
Well, you didn't say
I never
anything.
said
That's
that.
the point. You're just leading to something that's nowhere.
No, you misread what I said. I don't think there's
No.
anyone in the room other than you that thinks that I said she was a bad person.
I didn't. Just saying, it's
I
the way
think
you were
the answer
leading
is-
your
The way you said
introduction.
that, you're a shallow person.
Yeah.
I never
That's
even said
different.
that either about her. I basically said it had to do with about the way.
Oh my
Well, you could
God.
listen back to it.
Next
You don't have to
subject.
listen to me now.
Next
You could listen back to it.
Next.
You could listen
subject.
back to it. It's really hard for me. It's really hard for me in regards to this to take the fact that I was negative about this, because I wasn't being negative. I was just saying in the thing that I don't understand how this is more than a movie that is about American way of life, more than that. And that's all I'm saying. It's more of an American way of life thing, because I didn't think how other cultures could relate to this. But I guess evidently, because of the message, they are all relating to it, because they look at America as the light on the hill. That's it. That's what it's about. But it's not a negative movie. It's a very positive movie, and it's really it's not a comedy, although it has some funny moments in it. It's basically a message movie. And so I thought it was really good. I thought it was done really well. I was very surprised. So I recommend highly seeing it when it comes to a theater near you. All right, let's talk about something else. For all those people in the room that are on Medicare, bad news. 600,000 plus Medicare beneficiaries have lost their data thanks to a breach at Medicare. They've lost their social security number, their birth dates, their driver's license number, health insurance claim, medical history notes, basically everything. Medicare has been breached. It happened in 2023 of May. And if you've been notified by the government, by Medicare, then you will know that you have been affected by it, but they're moving very, very slowly. So if you're on Medicare, be super careful. The first thing I recommend for everybody to do, if you haven't frozen your credit reports at Equifax, TransUnion, and what's the other one? Experian. You need to freeze your credit reports. It's free, and that will save you a ton of hassle. So go out and do that. We'll throw the link in the chat. Also, if you're eating Nestle's, Be very careful. Some of their Toll House break and bake chocolate chip cookies have found to have some wood chips in them. So they don't know how far it's gone, but they're recalling all of the Nestle USA chocolate. So be careful. Well, the Toll House break and bake chocolate chips, not all of Nestle's. So just be aware of that in case you eat the bake and break stuff. Also, if you're driving a Toyota, that has a Tundra or Tundra hybrid truck, they have a plastic tube by the brakes that could cause you some problems, maybe a fire. So Toyota's recalling all of those 2022 and 2023 Tundras and hybrid trucks. So that's it. The other thing I wanted to talk about today and get your opinion about is what's happening now with flash mobs. David might be more aware of this than everybody else, but in Topanga Canyon, Saturday afternoon at Nordstrom's, they were hit by a flash mob to come in and basically shoplift all of the stores. They stole over $100,000 worth of merchandise, and it's organized
Are
shoplifting.
you talking about that group that robbed Nordstrom's recently?
Yep, that's what it is.
They're calling it flash mob robbery.
Yep.
That's terrible.
And there's not, I mean, everybody now is freaking out. If you're on a mall and you have high cost items, you know, they're all worried about what's going to happen. Dave, have you heard any more?
They did it in Glendale and got $300,000 worth of stuff. So which stuff is happening?
Now, I have heard that this is organized crime. I've heard that organized crime is right now.
Running like that. You run in
Well,
like in a group like that. They also did that jewelry store in Orange County, and they did the Gucci store. They did in Orange County. It's got hit a few times. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's organized crime.
30 to 40 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically what's
30 to
happening
40
is
people.
yeah, basically it's being organized by organized crime from what I've read. And basically what they're doing is they're stealing the stuff, then they're fencing it off, and it's organized. I heard it was I heard it wasn't just, you know, random people doing flash mobs, that this is actually organized, and it's what they call organized crime. So
Yeah.
interesting.
I agree.
All right. One other thing that I wanted to talk about is that if you're looking for a new job, anybody, that there's a job right now for Madison Square Garden at the Sphere. They're looking for a vice president of live entertainment. So if you think you have the qualities and the capabilities of getting that job at the Sphere, I hope you do, because I would like to be able to call you to come see a show once in a while. So that's, you know, I know there was, okay, so I did have some, you know, some secret benefit for me that I wanted. Ulterior motive is what it's called. I had some ulterior motives in bringing that job.
Did you see the video I posted on Facebook of the dome? About 25 minutes of the dome.
No, I didn't see it. I've been there. I actually saw it with my own two eyes. What did you post? Because I posted some things as well.
I posted a 20-minute video that I edited, got rid of some of the dead stuff, and as we were driving around, and we were able to park right there. And just stand
Well,
and look
David,
at
what
it
I
while
recommend highly is you tag yourself on this video and put the link to this, put the link in our in the notes on the video because this is on Facebook, so you have a way to comment. So add that link to the comment so people can see it as well. All right?
I don't know how to do that. I'm not sure if I can do that.
No, you just go up, you click on, you go to our meeting. You go to our meeting, you click the like button, which is really important for everybody to do. And then you'll have an ability to make a comment. So all you do is copy and paste your link into the comments.
Okay, I'll check it out.
Or better yet, put the link in the chat and Tina will do it for you.
All right, Tina, go to my Facebook page.
Okay.
There you
I'll
go.
do that.
Make her work. Yeah, make her work. You know, like she's not working hard enough already, man. You know? I mean, hey, look, she's doing more than her share of work right now. She's doing more. I mean, not only is she doing her job normal, she's adding phenomenal quality entertainment to this show. I love it. I love it. You know, it's like, what was that? It's almost, I feel like we're on Saturday Night Live with Dan Aykroyd and Jane Curtin. For those who are old enough to remember that.
You ignorant
Anyway,
slut.
yeah, that's it. So anyway, they've discovered they've discovered now a new thing in physics called the muon or muon. Have you guys heard about this muon? You engineers out there? Basically, the muon is like this really small particle in the energy field, like, you know, like a neuron or an atom. You know, it's like a little part of the atom. And basically they're saying that this could change the way the way people actually look at physics now. It could change the whole the prospect of how people look at physics. Kurt, have you heard about this?
Not yet.
I mean, it's above my pay grade for sure.
Is it smaller than an electron? Or
It's
bigger?
smaller than an
It's-
electron.
It's similar to electron. They're tiny particles that zip around the atomic nuclei, but are 200
It-
times more massive. Hence their nickname, fat electrons.
Right.
Fat electrons, I can relate to that, man. I'm telling you. And I'll tell you one other thing. It's bigger than a bread box, but could fit in a bread box. There you go. So it changes the way we look at physics. So I thought I would share that. We'll throw the link in the chat as well.
And what did
the-
you say? That when did they discover this?
Right, just now. They're
Oh,
discovering it right now as we speak. Brand new. They've just discovered it, you know? And you know, it's an interesting thing is that how when they do certain things like, you know, creating a new, finding new materials in our atmosphere or testing. What's that thing that they do with the speed accelerator in Norway or Germany where they're trying to crash atoms? Where if they do it right, they could create a black hole, and they're trying to create a black hole. And I mean, if they're successful and it escapes from that tube, that would be the end of the planet. Would be as we know it. So anyway, I mean, without getting into politics, there's a, you know, how did this virus, you know, COVID hit us? You know, did it come from scientists or not? But if it did, you know, I mean, look, we you know, the next one's going to be around sooner or later. We don't know when. I'm hoping that, you know, I never have to experience another experience like COVID. That's for sure. That was a horrible thing. Now it seems like it's all in a rearview mirror, even though people are still getting it. So the vaccines that they've created have really assisted us in our lives. Anyway, two more things I want to talk about, and then we could just open it up and talk about, you know, anything you guys want. There is now a survey that they've done that adults who regularly say hello to their neighbors have higher well-being than those who are antisocial. A new Gallup poll found that if you like striking up a conversation with your neighbor, chances are you're going to be much healthier. You're going to be more personable. I mean, it makes sense. And you're going to have a better time in life. So say hi to your neighbor. And, you know, it's just a phenomenon that how nice it is to be nice. There you go. Hello, neighbor. How you doing? And that's why we do this show, because I think it really helps my attitude. It really, you know, bringing people together is always a wonderful thing for positive. And I hope you guys get positive vibes out of the show and what we're doing here. All right. Anybody comment?
we do. We love you.
All right. The last story I wanted to. Yes, David.
Hey, David. Which
What?
profile has the video?
David Dansky, the one with the soundboard on it in my picture.
Okay. All right, Jan. Back to you.
Okay. The last story I want to talk about is a Belgium university is now giving a literary course to analyze Taylor Swift lyrics. The Belgium
Yeah.
course is called SWIFTERATURE. So if you are eligible to apply for this course in the Belgium University, you're welcome to it. So if you're a Taylor Swift fan and you want to analyze her lyrics, this is your opportunity you've been waiting for. Wayne, do you need the phone number there? Because I can see you're ready to dial.
I think I'm good. I think I'm good.
Well, that's it, folks. That's it for me. So who wants to say something before we say goodbye to those people on social media? Somebody's got something. Wayne is Wayne's corner now.
Well, I could say that I'm about to go on next week. I've got my ticket to go and see a seasoned singer, a great singer, Marsha Hines. I don't know. Actually, I'm not sure if Marsha's sold in the States, but she comes from the States and been here all her life. But anyway, she's in her 70s. She's doing a performance at the Wagga Wagga Civic Theatre next week, 2 nights, and I've got my ticket, and her and the band, I'm sure, will be fantastic. So I'm looking forward to that. Absolutely.
Excellent. Excellent, excellent, excellent. I am really happy to hear that. And buddy, I am glad that you are with us. And thank you so much for being with us as much as you've been. Kurt, I want to thank you as well for being such a supporter of what I'm doing. David, Tina, and everybody else who in the listening world, I really appreciate that you've supported us for 169 episodes of this show, and especially you guys up on Facebook and Twitter, or X as it's called now, LinkedIn. We want you to join the panel, come in and share your opinions. You know, there's room for everybody on this show, and we hope that you decide next week you want to be part of it. In the meantime, remember to subscribe. We have 153 subscribers to the YouTube channel. We had 45 views last week on Facebook. Now, that's not like 1 million views or whatever, but man, 45 people are caring about what we have to say. And that's, to me, is good, because everyone is special in that respect, that they are listening to what we have to say. And I really appreciate that. And anyway, before I say goodbye to everybody on social media, is there anything that anybody else would like to say in the room?
Oh, no, thank you.
Stay
You're very
hydrated.
welcome. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. I
Thank you,
want to make an
Dan.
announcement. I know it's at the end of the show, but I want to make an announcement, and I want to thank Tina Finley. This Monday, I believe, I think it's Monday, this coming Monday, Tina will have been with me for 7 years. 7 years. I don't know how anybody could be with me that long, but Tina has made it 7 years, and I am so thankful. You know, I mean, there are times I want to kill her for sure. Absolutely want to kill her. But for the most part, man, she's been the best thing that's ever happened to Soundbroker, other than me, of course. You know, that's it. You know, but I want to thank you, Tina. I want to thank you publicly for really, you know, everything that you've done for us and for me. And so I want to publicly announce it. And I think when you get your paycheck this Friday, I think you're going to be very pleasantly surprised. But then again, I've been known to be wrong before. So there you have it. That's why this is an opinion show.
Thank you, Dan. I appreciate
So let's
it.
give Tina a hand. Thank you, Tina, very much. Would you like to say something? Speech.
No, just thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Did you think I forgot?
Yes. I did.
No, I didn't forget. So thank you very much, Tina. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Just remember, everything you heard today is an opinion. We're going to stay in the room and chat a little bit more. Just remember, again, I reiterate, remember, everything you heard today is an opinion. You're more than welcome to join us live on Facebook, Twitter, your social media to join the show. Please give us a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you like it. Leave some comments, positive, of course. And with that in mind, just remember, you make it happen. Thanks for coming for the 169th time in a row. We'll see you again for the 170th next week. By the way, if you don't know where to find it, you could go to soundbroker.com, and right on the homepage, we have a link to the show. You could even watch it from there. So remember, you make it happen. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again next week. Bye for now. And we are off the air.
Yeah, I just pasted the dome onto the chat.